Well, here we are. It's nearly at the end of this fact-finding. We're wondering what the judge is going to come up with on Thursday, and we're wondering if she's going to do the right thing. But whether she does the right thing or, in certain people's books, the wrong thing, it's going to be difficult for her either way. If she does the right thing by the people, the public, the children, all the people affected by this, all the children who are the victims of this case, and we do believe there are many victims, and they haven't been rescued from the situations that they're in. If she does the best she can for them, then obviously she's going to get into trouble with certain shadowy people ranged around her in these places and in higher places, and so it's difficult for her.
So I mean, basically, are they still got no legal representation in there at the moment?
No, they haven't, and this has been one of the frustrating things for me, because I'm conscious as every day goes by, more is happening in that courtroom that we actually could benefit from knowing about and hearing, and yet we haven't had a single syllable fed back to us. You know, when I say we, I'm still, in my mind, representing the mother. Whether or not formally I'm representing her, you know, I'm concerned about her and I'm concerned about the children. So, of course, we need to know what's being said, which could be in their interest and could not be in their interest.
And what about the Russian embassy? I thought the Russian embassy was involved.
Went in last week with the grandparents when it was the turn of the grandparents to give their witness evidence. The Russian embassy went in. And again, I should be trying to check up that they, you know, by last time I saw him, I said, please try and get in there on Thursday the 12th. Because obviously that's when she will deliver her verdict.
So they haven't managed to sort out any legal representation either? Well,
you see, there's all sorts of difficulties. They're away in a very remote place. They've got no email, no Skype. They feel nervous about phoning people from where they are, because, you know, it's easy to trace locations of mobile phones. It's under those circumstances, and they've got very little money. So under those circumstances, it's very difficult to arrange lawyers, and for them to trust the lawyers enough at that distance, not being able to meet the lawyers.
But I mean, even if they didn't trust the lawyer, we still would have got some information.
There is one lawyer that I kept saying, look, please just, you know, because there's nothing better. There's somebody who can go in and just listen and take notes. Please. I've put that message to her many times, whether or not she's done it, because whatever happens, I'm not in touch with that lawyer, or I've tried to get in touch with him and he doesn't seem to want to speak to me for some reason, so I don't know what's going on.
So there's no representation, and then
no, there's certainly not representation, and the best we can hope for is listening ears in there. But in any case, the case is practically over anyway, so you know, in a couple of days after that she could get a transcript. But again, whether the reality of what was said matches up with the text of the transcript, that's another thing you don't know.
Well, that's right,
You hope it's the same, but you don't know. You know, certain bits could be eliminated or cleaned up. The judges have discretion to doctor the transcripts to make it look what they want to.
You know, when the mum ran away from the house, when the grandparents were there?
Yes.
Was that after the videos had been leaked, or? Yes,
I mean the videos were leaked sort of earlier in February. And then on the 10th of February, the case went before this judge on an application from Barnet Council regarding the sudden deluge of publicity, for the judge to make an order for some of that to be obviously damned. So there was an order against the press and media from continuing to publish this case, insofar as the press and media were concerned, but they haven't been particularly. But for anybody, for Google, for Facebook, for YouTube, you know, any of the social media, we're also under this injunction not to allow any stuff to continue to circulate. And then there was also an order for the two parties that are most chief suspects of having been responsible for the internet leaks and all the information that's been swirling around, that they should, by a certain date that week, which happened to be Friday the 13th, 4 o'clock, they were to remove anything that they'd put up. The police arrived 24 hours earlier and attempted to arrest the mother. There also having been, through third parties, hints that the Chief Mackenzie friend was also in danger of being arrested if she stayed around. So I told her, you know, I can read the writing on the wall, you better get out. And so by the end of that week, even though they still had till Friday the 13th, 4 o'clock to do what they could to put the matters right, they were already both left the country. The police were after them. I think the police in that instance were out of order. They should have let the whole thing roll till Friday, which was according to the judge's order. So that's one more black mark notched up against the police.
Has anyone heard anything from the kids yet?
From the kids, from children? Well, I hope that sometime this week the grandparents will have visited them. I don't know if they're going to, but there was talk that the grandparents would go and see them this week. So I hope that's happened, or is happening even as we speak.
Are you still in contact with the grandparents and Abraham? And
Yes. Well, with Abraham and the mother, not only when they manage to get to a phone or feel that they can phone. Not every day by any means. So it's a bit sporadic, but at the same time, we do get into contact. I think they've been talking to Sabine in Europe or wherever she is, because it's easier to do that than it is to phone people like me. Probably my phone's being listened to and all sorts. Anyway, it's all been very trying, really. And I really don't know, as I say, which way the cookie crumbles at this stage and what's going to happen on Thursday. But as I say, the judge could do some of the right things. She could return the children to the grandparents, which is what the public is screaming at her to do. And I hope she will do that, because whatever happens, with the other parties in the case, I think by now, if there's question marks about the father, there's question marks about the mum's boyfriend, then obviously the next candidates in line are going to be the grandparents. And they are eminently suitable to look after these children, take them away and help them to restore their minds after this terrible ordeal.
I mean, we've seen like the kids have said they wanted to stay with their carer that they was with.
That was the first carer, but since then they've been moved, I think, twice.
But I mean, if the kids are asking to be somewhere other than a family member, wouldn't that go?
Well, I think the children's wishes should be taken into account. Yes. If they genuinely prefer to remain in England, to be brought up in foster care.
But I mean, even if they do say that, I mean, can we trust that that's their actual feelings, or?
Without somebody independent actually going to. You see, this is the problem, because we get everything filtered through the local authorities looking after them and the police looking at the back of it as well. So who can we really say is actually representing? I mean, for me, a lot hinges on how the grandparents find their grandchildren this week. And there were definite concerns in January. In December, when the grandparents first came over, the children were still quite chirpy and cheerful. By January, they were quite depressed and quite, not giving eye contact to the grandparents, nervous about taking sweets or fruits that the grandparents had brought,
around them,
and not being natural at all, and looking quite depressed and anxious. So if that has escalated 2 months later, then I think there's great cause for concern. So I think the grandparents, they do know those children very well. They've watched them grow up. They've visited them. Children have visited their grandparents every year. Sometimes twice a year, I gather. And so they know them very, very well.
And obviously are happy to see them. And
yes. And when the grandparents first arrived in December, the children went straight onto their laps, for a cuddle.
Excited to see them,
but that was all different in January. So something's going on with them.
Well, something's been said to them. Obviously they've been threatened, or it's a terrible situation, isn't it? Because obviously it's all out on the net now. Everyone knows who they are.
Well, I think they should be right away from it. I mean, that's an argument for not keeping them here.
Well, exactly.
For their best interests, it's better for them to be right away.
Out of the country and with their grandparents and trying to get on with their lives again.
That's it.
I can't see them staying in care really myself, because
no, because they'll.
Obviously, there's so much public attention on it now, and they're never going to be in a situation where.
This is it. So, for their best interest, I think that's. I just hope she seems to have been in past cases more on the side of the children and families than some of the judges in there. So I still hope that she will come good.
And then what were you saying about the mum? She's got no phone nearby her or internet?
Well, no, she has got. They're in some sort of remote place, I guess. So there's no internet. Well, they can get to an internet cafe in the local town.
Because I find it quite surprising that they haven't actually come out with a speech themselves, you know, since it's all blown onto the net, you know, a little statement from themselves. I know we've had the grandparents, but there hasn't been much from Abraham, has there, or the mum, to clarify the situation from their point of view.
I can't really comment about that.
Yeah.
But if you're already under some injunction or with threat of arrest not to speak or say anything,
then obviously you don't then sort of start blabbering your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a tricky situation then.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I think probably when it's all over, they probably will say something about it. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
And then there's the next stage, which could be appealing or could be putting in a counterclaim.
So this thing with the dolls and the blood on it and that was Sabine's idea, was it, or someone?
I hated that idea.
Suggested it to Sabine.
No, it wasn't Sabine's. I think it's somebody else. Sabine picked it up and Sabine sometimes, you know, she thinks anything for publicity and doesn't think terribly hard about it because she's very much a publicity person.
I
said straight away, no, this is awful, this is tasteless, this is offensive.
Well, yeah, because it's like what's been happening with the babies being cut off, isn't it? It's a similar.
Yeah, but
I mean, I know it's to get the message.
It's not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it.
No.
You know, the thing
I was imagining people cutting up babies and putting fake blood in them. I couldn't see myself doing it.
No. Some things which are in good taste, and there's some things which are just appalling and grotesque.
So we're waiting for a next course of action at the moment. There's nothing planned at the moment. We're going to wait to see what happens on Thursday.
We are rather sort of, feeling we don't know.
And then we're going to see what's the best thing to do from there. But obviously, is there going to be a problem if we start turning up at Hampstead's?
I would say we should perhaps do an action, but away from the town.
Yeah.
And we should wait to see how the public opinion comes out.
Yeah.
In the next few days, because there's a certain merit in letting things sort of settle down and letting people digest. And again, I say there's a lot more research to do. There's a lot more on all of this whole situation. And there's also what the public can do is press for a new inquiry into the whole thing if that's what they feel strongly about.
Yeah.
But I would say let's play it by ear, because I always think we have to, whatever we do, we have to bring the public with us. We can't sort of.
No.
It's crucial that
everyone's involved now, aren't they? Because it's all over the net and people's become involved.
It doesn't help if we have a war with the public going on when we've already got, if you like, a war with the Satanists. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
obviously they can do donation as well. I got an email when I signed the petition to donate. I mean,
yes, donations. I mean, I'm always,
where does that money go to once it's donated?
The monies would go to help mount counter-claims and counter-court actions. If Sabine, for example, has to defend herself, or if she's forced to run around for months and months. I mean, she does. She's 70 years old. She's given lots and lots of her personal wealth away, such as it was to fighting all these causes over many years. And she's now a pensioner, and she's in a sticky situation. So it would help her a bit. But also, I have a general fund to help mums generally in the family courts. So that work has to go on as well. I've taken my eyes slightly off that.
I think everyone did for a split second, didn't they? Because of
this taking precedence.
Yeah, it was
all
so
of those
shocking,
other situations are still very
important as well.
Pressing and agonising, with people feeling they need some sort of help, and where do they get it from? So that's where we can possibly come in. And
everyone tends to eat.
Also, apart from anything else, I could do with some administrative help in trying to harness all the information that's come in just in these last few weeks while this case has been going on. I have a lot of members of the public not a lot, but a significant number of members of the public
Yeah.
passing me information about this case,
Right,
which has not yet been looked at by the police, but
Right.
which does seem to be contributing to fleshing out the allegations in
Is
some
that
way.
people that live in the area and maybe have gone to the school previously, or their kids have gone to the school? Or?
Yes, it's people who've been involved with the school or
Yeah.
local people
Right,
saying
okay.
something. And again, that needs to be somehow put together,
Yeah.
sorted, sifted.
Yeah.
Then we have to find independent authorities, perhaps one of these anti-child abuse panels or judges that have come up to head up what's called the People's Child Abuse Inquiry.
Yeah,
I made
yeah.
a good contact with John Bullock the other day. John Cooper.
Right. And
John Bullock, who heads up the People's Tribunal into Child Abuse.
right.
And I think somebody like that, or Mike Mansfield,
Yeah.
could have some of this information
did, Sabine
and start collecting, the evidence for substantiating the children's allegations that the police have not yet examined.
Yeah.
So
Has
that's
Sabine
going.
got any more response from Justice Goddard's?
I don't know whether Justice Goddard's come back yet. I think if she had, we would have heard about it, and I haven't heard about it, so I assume she hasn't. Sabine writes regularly to all these public figures. I don't know if Theresa May ever answered her email late at night, early in February.
Right.
Bernard Hogan-Howe, the Chief Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, I don't know whether he's come back. I just don't know how
Yeah, he
many
was on the radio the other day, wasn't he, saying they haven't got enough staff to deal with this, enough police
well, you
officers.
see, this is why I say, we have got an electronic society, and with, clever electronic people, high-tech people, it should be possible to not to have too many staff and still to have quite an efficient investigation and information gathering department on all these cases. It's a question of whether they've got the will to do it.
But I mean, like the police are involved in this case, and from the looks of it, it's an open and shut case,
you
isn't
have to
it?
say, because of their bullying, because of their breaking their procedures, you have to say they must be in some way anxious for this not to come out, or
they're either
raises
involved
the question
or
as to whether
someone
some of
higher
them
up.
are involved, as the children have indicated one or two. And it's the same in the Hollybread case up in Scotland,
Right.
because there were one or two a local sheriff and a senior police officer involved in that case. That's why it didn't come out when Holly reported it years ago. And it's never been investigated. There's too many high up people.
Do you still have contact with Anne?
Yes. Yes. Informally, sort of not in a campaigning. I mean, they're under an injunction from the same judge, which was placed on them 2 or 3 years ago for not to continue. They mustn't continue to publicly campaign at all.
Right. Okay.
Because that's the condition on which Holly stays safe and remains with her mum. So that was Judge Crawford. And so, I think we've got to campaign collectively for all these situations, all these cases. In the meantime, I think there's quite a lot more people in Scotland, campaigners in Scotland, than there used to be, which I'm quite pleased about. Who know that they've got to deal with the problem on the Scottish front. While we deal with some of these terrible cases down south, they've got problems up there. And then there's the European front, which is the other countries where there are instances of this going on. So
it's worldwide now, isn't it?
It's worldwide
because of the internet.
I think it's worldwide, but there are particular what I call child abuse black spots. Or, so there are certain councils in this country that are worse than others.
Well, I mean,
I would flag up the places where child services are being run reasonably properly, and get them on board to try and help counteract some of the corruption in other areas. So
that's where we are.
We press on. Public awareness is growing. Public awareness will continue to grow. We've got a fantastic rally coming up, which I think is probably, I hope, going to be our biggest anti-child abuse rally yet, on the 11th of April.
End of April, End of April.
No, 11th of April. Saturday, the 11th of April.
Okay, right.
And it's in central London. Start off around 10 o'clock in Trafalgar Square.
10 o'clock,
after about an hour of assembling and mustering, go down Whitehall to Downing Street.
Any famous faces going to be there from the conspiracy scene, or
conspiracy scene?
the troopers? movement.
There were people from the Truth movement. And,
yeah.
Yes, and lots of the key activists and.
Is anyone lined up at the moment?
To speak or
to speak.
I should imagine we'll all take the microphone. And, yes, you know.
Bill Maloney going to be there?
I hope so. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be certainly the big one this spring.
Yeah.
And it's also going to happen just before the election, so we need to influence the electoral process as well. Because what we need in Parliament are less politicians and less party people. Yeah. But more. Just normal people, decent people.
Have you got a website for that so people can log on to and find out the details and the meeting points and for your rally?
About the rally?
Yeah.
Yes, if people go on Facebook and they go onto a website called United We Stand, which is Brenda McNamara's site,
right.
Mumsy, her popular name.
Yeah.
They'll find all the details.
Right, okay.
And that's it, really.
Hopefully we can get quite a few people down to it.
I think it needs to be, quite a good turnout on that day.
Yeah,
Make a strong statement to the public that we're going on with this.
Yeah, we've got to help the kids, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Well, I think you're doing a brilliant job.
It's a bit of a hard road to tread.
Yeah.
And yet, it's lovely just to stand here. Every time I stand here, which I've been doing now this is the 9th day and there's 2 more days to go. I meet some absolutely wonderful, great people.
Yeah.
And also hear some very sad stories.
Yeah.
I'm about to bring out a video today of the lovely young woman who grew up in the Barnet area.
Right, okay.
Who spoke very passionately about the horrors of her childhood. I don't know if you were there at the time. You were hovering somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
Her name is Katie, so that's coming out today.
Right, okay.
And I think that will make a very big impression on people.
Yeah.
She's very articulate, it's very moving.
Yeah.
People watching that will cry.
Well, it's good to get the stories out and show people what's really going on.
Absolutely.
Because it's all hidden, isn't it? And
well, it's all hidden. This needs to be not hidden anymore.
No.
Certainly, the worst aspects of it are a bit difficult for people to take on board.
Yeah.
And yet, we've had over the centuries atrocities, wars, terrible massacres, dreadful political leaders, kings, murderous kings, and sadistic, public executions in this country, beheadings every few days in this capital city of ours, tortures and inquisition. Let's just take a little bit.
Yeah, I mean it is a hard subject,
more of the nasty stuff.
We've got to face up to it, haven't we?
We've got to face up to it, and too much of. I don't want there to be any cruelty in this world at all. Ideally, I want all cruelty to be banished from this world. Yeah. And yet we will only banish it when people rise up and say we don't tolerate it any longer. So we've got to know about it. So it's a painful moment. But if we go, it's like jumping into a cold swimming pool or something. If you hover on the brink, put a toe in, and it goes on. The ordeal goes on for. You've got to actually plunge in and get really cold, and then find afterwards that things are better. Yeah. You're actually enjoying your swim.
You got to face your dangers, haven't you? And,
you have to. You have
to
face
overcome it, and
that's it. And if we all do that together, it makes it easier as well.
Yeah.
Because we can come together and think about all sorts of things that we can change for the better, and get the people really using their heads and using their hearts and their passions to improve things. And we don't need these people abusing babies and killing babies and children.
No, that's enough now, isn't it? It's too much now.
And we do not accept it, we do not tolerate it.
We need the politicians on board, we need the papers, we need the truthers, we need everyone, don't we?
Everyone on board.
And it's quite shocking that they're not all here today, or they haven't really got on board.
I never blame people for not being there, because people have got lives, people have got work, people have got this and that. Yeah. And as long as a few good people, new people, I meet new people every time I come on the streets. Yeah. For me, that's the best thing. Yeah. I just love it when I meet a really good new person and they tell me what they've been doing and what they feel strongly about, and they want to help, and they've got some special skill or talent that they can bring. It's lovely, all of that.
Yeah, and you learn something new.
And it encourages me, because I know that most people really are good.
Yeah.
Really are, and all they need is just a little bit of a nudge.
I won't take up any more of your time, because everyone's pretty waiting to speak to you as well. But I appreciate you doing.
Everybody's waiting to speak to me. We're going to be packing up now, because it's after 2.
I appreciate you doing another video with me.
It's been a pleasure.
even though I had to force
it's been a pleasure
myself
because
into.
you're very easy to talk to, and some people are help the words to flow. So